Alrighty, hey traders, John Howler here. What a crazy year it's been, eh? What a crazy year it's been. Time goes so fast, doesn't it? It goes so fast. You know, in today's video, guys, I want to walk you through one of the things that I've applied to my own personal trading that has really helped me so much in just having successful years. Not just successful periods and being lucky, but having successful years after years after years. And I'm just so grateful to be able to, be part of the top, say, 1% of all traders around the world when it comes to the income that I make. And not only that, but my coaching clients as well too. They're just crushing it as well. And I'm just so grateful for my coaching clients. So one of the things that, if you look at my personal trading, two big things that's really helped me be really consistently profitable. Well, actually, really three things. Three things that's been really the cornerstone of my success in the markets. The first thing I must say is actually knowing what a really good high quality setup looks like on the charts. I think a lot of people, when they go down the path of getting involved with the markets, they may see I think one of the big issues is that we may see like a really nice setup on the charts, but when we see it, then they start to add all this other stuff to it, and that's just not good. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a trader of the market, if you're trading the market actively, then we don't need to add all this other stuff to it. It really just doesn't. We don't need that. You know what I mean? Now, one of the things that's really helped me is that, right? It's just to keep it really simple, meaning like, if there's a simple chart pattern that I see on the charts that gives me a high probability of seeing a nice move in that direction, then that's all I need. Like, I don't need to add other stuff to it, because it's just not. Success in the markets for me has been, like, over the last 20 years, success for me in the markets has just come from just doing the same thing over and over again. Like, it's just the same trading patterns, it's the same thing, and it's nothing new. You know what I mean? Like, it's now I've been doing it for I've been trading the same way now for 10 years consistently. I've been trading for 20 years, but I got about 10 years, and especially the last 5 years. And that's probably the very first thing that really helped me have consistent years, is having the foundation of most of my trades being the trading setups that I look for. You know what I mean? It's not a matter of me guessing or hoping. And so, because as you know, if you guess, if you hope, if you try to create a story around why we want to get involved with the markets, then we can't rely on that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, say for example, if you're creating a story why you're in gold or silver right now. Nothing against gold and silver, by the way. Like, I don't hate gold and silver. I don't hate any market. Like, but if you're in a position now and your strategy was and there's some sort of story that you've come up with that you think, whatever, right? Like, gold's going to 10,000 or whatever. Well, that's a story. Now, I'm not against you making money, but what I do say is that once you get out of that trade that you're in on that story, what do you have to then create another story, and then another story? You see what I'm saying? Like, and from that, guess what ends up happening? You end up getting wiped out from the markets. So the very first thing that really helped me have consecutive, like, really successful years. And if you go to getjohnshelp.com, that's an application for my 1% group who I'm with every day. But on there, for last year, you'll be able to see my real equity curve. So you can see my actual real equity curve over there. And you can see all the testimonials and so on and so forth. And I've got 2 spots left for that group as well too. But the cornerstone of my success and having successful years after years, which has allowed me to do really well from trading, has been knowing what a really good high quality setup looks like on the charts. And then trading that, you know what I mean? Just having that as the foundation to my trades. And I always say 80% of my trades. Now, why is that? Because every now and then I'm going to take a trade that I think is a good idea and so on and so forth. That's just nature. That's, we're going to do that sometimes, you know what I mean? But one of the biggest mistakes is what? Come January next year, start of 2026, then how do you know that? Are you going to be confident that you're going to have another successful year next year? Or do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's the big thing there is, I know I'm going to have another good year next year, and the year after, and the year after, because I've built my success on a solid foundation of setups that just work again and again and again in bull markets, bear markets, in any market. They just work. So that's the very first thing that I must say that really has been the cornerstone of having, not just, again, there's a differences, right? Like, I'm not all about luck. Like, I can't rely on luck. Luck is just no good, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not good there. So that's the very first thing. The second thing that really helped me out in my personal trading was, let me do this here. Ooh. The next thing that really helped me out in my trading was looking to set myself up to have much bigger profits and smaller losses. Let me do this over here. So how I've done that in my own trading is I've done that in a way where I'm now looking more for swing trades. I found it very difficult to have big profits and small losses by day trading, because it just seemed to be, if you know what I'm trying to say, like, it just seemed to be like hard. It was smaller profits, bigger losses, and a lower win-loss ratio, and I'll be trading a lot. And it was just a recipe for disaster. And so, isn't that gorgeous, guys? Isn't that gorgeous? So I knew that I had to start changing some things, because one, I wasn't doing well as a day trader. Doing okay, but not as well as I'm doing now. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I didn't have any freedom in my life. And so then I knew that I had to start to, change some things around of what I was doing there. And so me changing my method, my approach to having more of a swing trading approach, where I'm looking to be in trades for a couple of weeks, sometimes up to a couple of months. By doing that, I'm going to give myself the best chances that if I'm wrong, I can get out fast for a small loss. But if I'm right on the trade, then I can swing it and have a big profit. Make sense? So once I can swing it and have a big profit, if I can have that foundation, then I'm going to set myself up to having a successful year. Do you know what I mean? So, let's go down here. So that was that there. Now, how I actually do this and have big growth on my account, and this is the third thing that really, really, really just brings it home. Isn't that gorgeous, by the way? Isn't that gorgeous? Right? The third thing, which brings it all home for me, is the utilizing of buying options. Now, here's the reason why it's so amazing for me when utilizing exactly the 3 steps. Knowing what to look for more swing trades, and then utilizing options. I want to give you an example here, right? So my last 2 trades that I got out of just in the last 2 weeks. There was one on SIL, and that was a 280% return, right? And then there was another trade on SLV, which was a 75% return. Now, 75% return, that was my smallest loss in the last 6 months, by the way. All of them have been much bigger profits, 300%, 400%, stuff like that. So, but hear me out. Once I started to apply this was a game changer to me. So when I started trading options and I started utilizing options within the 3 steps I talked about, knowing what to look for more big swing trades that last a couple of weeks to a couple of months, and having small losses, this is when everything started the game change for me, right? So say for example, I have a $100,000 trading account, okay? And I know that when I buy options, I don't do any of these other funky strategies. I keep it simple. Just if it's a bullish trade, I just buy the option. And one of the things here, here's the thing, right? So the thing that really changed it for me was this. And I'm trying to make sure that I explain this to you clearly so you get it. And this is when everything started to change for me. If I buy options, they're highly leveraged, right? So you can depend, like, especially if you buy short-term options, like a week option, and you buy out of the money, that's the wrong way to do things. Out of the money and short-term options, you are going to get smashed with volatility if it goes against you. There is no small losses, there's big losses really quickly. So how I do that is I buy plenty of time. I'm buying 2-3 months minimum on the trade, and sometimes longer. So I'm buying plenty of time and I'm buying in the money options. Yes, they're more expensive, but it's about protecting my account. I don't care about them being more expensive, but they're more expensive. I'm like, yeah, but it's the same type of thing, right? So I'll do the numbers here for you. Say if I had a $100,000 trading account and I used the last 2 trades I just got out in the last 2 weeks, and you'll see the reason why I love doing why I love trading the way that I trade. If I have a $100,000 trading account, right? And I put on 10% of my account, which is $10,000, into a trade. I know an average loss for me will be about 20-30% of that $10,000 with me so far. So that 20-30% is what? 2 to 3% of my entire account. I have a $100,000 trading account. I took $10,000, 10%, and put it into this position here. And if I'm wrong, and I've got to get out, most of the time it's a $2,000 or $3,000 loss, 20-30% of the 10,000. So therefore I'm risking on average 2 to 3% on that one trade, right? I'm just using the numbers here. So, but that's the risk there, right? A big loss for me, which I haven't had one for many years, is a 50% loss. So the worst case scenario is 5% of my account. But this is where it gets good. Check this out. What did I say my very first trade was in the last 2 weeks? My first trade was like 280% return, right? So that 280% return, what? If I did a $10,000 trade, that 280% return is what? A $28,000 profit over the course of I think it was about 4 to 6 weeks around there, right? A $28,000 profit. Now, that $28,000 profit is how much growth of the entire account. If it's $28,000 profit, 280% return on a $100,000 trading account, that's now 28% growth on my account, and I took roughly 2 to 3% risk on average on risk on the account. So I took 2 to 3% risk on the account, but I grew the account by 28%. Do you see how that works? Now we're talking, right? And then you could utilize, 28%, and then you could use the other one, which was 75%, right? So $10,000, you got a $7,500, $10,000 investment, right? Same thing for the 75%, which is SLV. Which that was, and call that, again, $2,000 to $3,000 risk, but I'm end up making what? $7,500. That's another 7% increase. So within 2 trades over the course of 6 weeks, if I was utilizing the same numbers here, you take no more than 10% of your account on those trades. And if you think about it, both though, if you look at that, if you use, say, a $100,000 trading account, and this is where everything changed for me, guys. $100,000 trading account, okay? If you put $20,000 on the $10,000 each on those trades in the last 2 weeks that I've done, you're taking what? You're taking around 5 to 6% maximum risk, or 5 to 6% around about the risk together, right? But the total combination was about a 35% growth on the account in about 4 to 6 weeks. And that was a 35%, right? So one was 28% growth on the account using the 10. I hope you guys see what I'm saying here. And then the other was what? 75% return on a 10,000. So that's a 7.5%. So $10,000 investment on the SLV, and that's a $7,500 profit. I'm just using numbers here, right? Obviously, I had a lot more on these trades, and I hope you can see the reason why I got out of these trades. So if you look at that, so the first one was a $28,000 profit on the 10,000. The second trade, 10,000, was a 75% return, which is a $7,500 profit. Combine those together, and what do you have? You have almost a 35% growth on your entire account. in about a 4 to 6 week period. And the combined combination of the average risk on those trades was about 5 or so percent, 5 to 6% if they both went against me. That's the average loss for me. In fact, my last loss that I had, which was, when was that? It was about 6 months ago. It was a 30% loss. That was my last loss. And then I've just gone on a massive winning streak. So my whole thing about this here, guys, and this is what's made my trading so successful. One, I know what I'm looking for. I'm not guessing. Two, I'm trying to apply more of a swing trading approach where I can pick up more profits. And three, I'm utilizing this. And four, guess what? I only have to trade now a couple of hours per day to manage, find, build watch list, and then just let the trade go. And the rest of the day, and now I have more freedom. You see what I'm saying there? So if that's the case there, and that's those two trades, well, now you can see the account's up by 35,000 in a matter of, say, 6 weeks. 35,000 in 6 weeks. Now, again, I had a trade recently on platinum. That was 250% return. Then there was a Groupon trade, 300% return. I had a trade on Ethereum, which gave me 400%. You see how I'm doing this, right? You see the numbers, how they work up and they stack up. So I can do a 300% profit in a matter of 6 weeks. And then if I'm wrong, I can make $30,000 profit on one trade, but if I'm wrong in the next trade, I can be down 3,000. Wait there, John, how's that work? If it's a $100,000 trading account and I take a $10,000 trade and I make 300% return on that trade in 6 weeks, guess what? I made $30,000, right? But that $10,000 trade is what? Average of 20 to 30%, which is a 2 to 3% risk on the account. You see what I'm saying here? And this is what's gave me the three major things that's given me the major foundation for success, long-term success in the markets. And so this is the reason why not only is my trading successfully long-term, but my coaching program is so successful because I teach people how to do this. If you really would like to go down this path, guys, and you really are serious, then I want to invite you to apply for the 1% group that I have. The 1% group, they're actually with me every day and today they're an hour and a half. It's amazing. You get to see what I'm doing. I get to help you. I get to coach you. It's only a real small group. But if this sounds good to you and you like the whole 12 months worth of proper coaching to get this right and you like this sort of what I'm saying here, then apply. I can't guarantee you'll have a spot, but you'll talk with me. And then we'll go from there. If you go to getjohntop.com, that's the 1% group, and I'll coach you and guide you through how to identify these setups, how do they look, what do they look for, how do I look for it, and understanding the setups and so on and so forth. And I hope you can see these three major things. Once I started having this as my foundation, this is what allows me to have really successful years. And I know for the rest of my life, as long as I keep applying this, knowing what to look for more swing trading opportunities, bigger profits, and utilizing things like options for the leverage. And then 4, I can trade only maybe 1 or 2 hours per day. That's it. That's managing, finding. It's all up there. So I hope some things that I've shared with you. It's taken me 20 years to figure this out, by the way, guys. It hasn't been overnight. It's been slowly putting the pieces together. And that's what I do for my coaching program. It takes me 20 years and I condense it down to 1 year for you. So anyway, traders, hope this helps you out and I'll speak to you soon.